Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's have a little seat and get comfy. So today is Viewer's Choice. Viewer's Choice is a new game I'm playing. In case you missed last week's video, my husband chose all my art supplies. We went out, I did a painting. It was kind of fun and wacky, and it was a really great way to feel a bit more free. I was kind of just in my own head, and it really loosened me up, and I had so much fun. So we decided this week we're gonna do Viewer's Choice. So over the week, Wolfy has collected all of your comments and suggestions. He's upstairs right now choosing from the most popular suggested items, as well as some random things from your suggestions. I think we're gonna do two paintings today. One is gonna be like from the most popular items, and then the other is gonna be just random stuff that you suggested and that he chose. So I don't even know what to expect.
Hello everyone. First things first, I'd like to say a massive thank you to everybody that commented on last week's video. We got in loads of amazing suggestions from you guys, and I have counted up the votes. There were a couple of things that I had to remove from the list. They got quite a few votes, but we used the materials last week, and so we didn't want to go and repeat ourselves this week. So we've counted up the votes, and the winners, we're going for 3 mediums, 2 tools, and 1 rule. So the winners are as follows. We have a watercolour palette, an ordinary fountain pen, some water-soluble graphite pencils. There was a lot of requests for just brush, but I also saw in amongst the comments there were quite a few requests for just specific brushes. And specifically, a lot of you were asking for a nice big fat brush, a detail brush, and a fan brush. So I'm going to put those 3 in there. We have also got, there we go, a palette knife, something that Sarah used to use quite regularly. And the rule that she has to stick by for this painting is that she is only allowed to use primary colours out of her watercolour palette. For the second painting, some of these suggestions were just so good that we couldn't just not use them. So what we did was we punched everything into a randomizer, and we selected a few different random things that we could use. The winners were Sailor Feud Demanin fountain pen, which I know is kind of the same as fountain pen, but it's obviously a specific one, and a lot of people were asking for this specific pen. Micron pens, and it came up on our randomizer, so I've picked a few random micron pens to take. Now the third thing that popped up on the randomizer was grayscale markers. Unfortunately afterwards, the tools that came up meant that I had to change one thing on it. The grayscale markers, I've changed that to acrylic gouache, because the 2 tools that have come up are water brush and feather. Now, feather wasn't actually one that was voted for by anybody, but a lot of you put in a stick or something else that we just found sort of lying about on the ground. So we're going to have to go out and see if we can find a decent feather for Sarah to paint with. That'll be quite interesting. She's also got her water brushes as well. The rule for this random painting that we're doing is going to be that Sarah is only allowed to use her left hand. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what she does, and yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video.
Once again, we're gonna go out to our location before I even know what I'm painting with. We're gonna walk around, maybe get some coffee, and just find somewhere to sketch. And I'll have to use whatever he hands me. So my fate is literally in your hands, or was in your hands this week while you suggested things. And I'm just along for the ride. And it's a good thing because we leave in 5 days. I'm leaving for 3 weeks for a whirlwind adventure overseas, and my brain just like stopped working. So this is like such a good thing for me to just take a little break, go out and have some fun in my sketchbook. Wolfie said there were some very creative suggestions. Maybe creative is the wrong word. Crazy? Oh God, what am I in for? In some way, the crazier the material, the more fun it is though. So like, it doesn't matter what I have to use. I'm gonna make the most of it, Okay, I say that now. Wait till I'm out there painting with some kind of like rock or something. Oh, here he comes. Okay, let's see. Why do I have deja vu? Wait, you're recording me?
Yep.
I am recording you?
I'm recording you?
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. What?
It's just a bag.
Okay, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, it's fine.
Now I'm very curious. What? Okay, we'll see.
It's like graffiti.
Try it. We are in a really lovely town called Aberlour, home of Walker's Shortbread, as well as the Aberlour Distillery, for those of you who enjoy whiskey, and Macallan whiskey, which is maybe more famous? I don't know. I think so. I've scoped out my subject, this beautiful clock tower church, and I'm gonna sit down and take out the material, see what he brought for me. Getting a little nervous. Okay, let's see. All right, so we've got, these are my water soluble graphite pencils. Oh, those are regular brushes. Watercolor. Okay, so far I'm happy. So I think I've taken everything out. We've got watercolor. That's the main medium, I assume. Then we have the graphite pencils, which dissolve in water. That's interesting. Combined with watercolor, we'll see. You said a fountain pen?
Fountain pen, yeah.
Okay. So that was it from that.
Yeah.
And then,
For your tools,
what are my tools? This is the tool bag.
you have got
It's like mop brush.
yeah, so the fattest brush that you could get.
The opposites.
That's your wee detail brush, and then the fan brush as well, and a palette knife.
With watercolor.
Yep.
I have an idea for that, actually.
Well, there you go. Good. This is exactly what we were hoping for.
Oh gosh.
Oh, and your rules. Sorry, I
Oh,
forgot.
what are the rules?
It's just the one rule with this one is that you're only allowed to use primary colours. Red, yellow, blue.
Okay.
That's all you're allowed.
All right. So since I didn't know what materials I was going to be using, I was allowed to bring a big stack of sketchbooks. And now that I know we're using water-soluble medium, I can choose a watercolor sketchbook. My big one. So I can spread out a bit. We'll go with this one.
Now that we know what the materials are,
Yeah.
what's going to be the strategy?
The strategy is as follows. The first thing I'm going to do is the water-soluble pencils, because I can get a nice value structure going. And then I will do some watercolor, obviously using the primaries. And then we'll top that off with the fountain pen. And I don't know what color is in here, so that'll be interesting. Okay. My new Stillman & Byrne Beta sketchbook. So the paper is really, really thick. And I did test out some watercolors and some inks the other day to get it started. And then I did some swatches, some color combinations that I use a lot. And I did a little sketching outside the other day at the Elgin Cathedral. Really love the windows in that building. I'm going to swatch these because I can't remember how they look. Medium, and then the dark. And they kind of look the same.
They look exactly the same.
That looks.
They do look a little bit
They have a
different
bit
from each
more of
other.
a difference, yeah. Ooh, that's the light wash.
That's so dark.
Yeah.
You might want to.
Oh.
Whoa, that's
Nice.
like black paint.
I think I'll use these ones
Yeah, the Faber-Castell
Oh, wow.
ones. That's a good one.
because you get way more
Yeah.
variety. All right, I've blocked in the majority of my shapes and I'm happy. I changed my strategy slightly. I'm gonna now ink on top of this because this is waterproof, at least I hope it is. And then I will come back in with the pencils to shade, to add like my shadows. And then I'm gonna do like a light glaze of watercolor on top. And right now the lighting is really cool. There's really dramatic shadows happening. So I wanna work quick so I don't miss that. My savior!
You want a cappuccino milkshake?
The cool thing about working in this way is I just embrace my messy, shaky hand and don't try to go for perfection. Just try to capture some of the really cool character, the character of the building, some of the pieces that I think are really, really pretty, really interesting. Knowing that there's going to be more layers of information on top of this, and I'm able to do something with a fair amount of detail in a shorter amount of time when I focus on just a few bits that I really, really like.
Well, I'm glad that you've said something like that, you know, embracing the free-flowing nature of it and your sort of shaky hand and stuff. I'm going to remind you that you said that in the next painting.
Oh no, are you kidding me? What is it? I think I'm gonna go ahead and skip the 2B. I'll just use the medium and the dark wash so I can get lots of value in. And then, like I said, I'm gonna tint it with watercolor. I forgot if I need to like fill in a whole area or if I can just put a little bit in and then spread it. That's gonna be the learning curve of this painting. Don't exactly have like a good strategy for these yet. These have shutters.
Yeah,
So that's
a good,
kind of
good idea with a fan brush.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a genius, I guess.
Yeah, you're pretty great.
The other thing I didn't think about till just now is that I don't have to dilute every single thing I draw. Like I could just shade something like this and leave it as that, as the light gray, and then just shade in the areas I want to be really dark, because clearly as soon as you add water, it becomes really dark. Let's use a lighter one for some of this and see how much of a difference it makes. This is really hard with this pen, this brush.
I'll use your detail brush or your...
It's too small.
Or your big fatty.
That's too big. I was gonna use that big one for the glaze of the watercolor. I think that will make sense.
Okay.
Trying to use this as like a flat brush almost. Cheating a little bit. It's actually not, you can kind of get the hang of it. Although I may need to now go back over that because I lost a little of the darkness in the shadow. I'm kind of just pushing and pulling. Actually, this is more fun than I thought it would be, even like 2 minutes ago. Just embracing the kind of scratchy, messy quality of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't hate you.
Here comes the big fella.
That's chunky.
Dark. Look at that precision.
It's not really.
It is.
The tricky thing is I can't use too much water with this stuff because it'll just completely dissolve. So it's almost like I need just dry brush, but not quite. I'm gonna do this. Look how dark that gets. I forgot about that. When it's already wet, you can get really deep shadow
Nice.
I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how to do the clock face because the numbers are white and the background's black. So I think I'm going to use the detail brush and just paint loosely around a couple things to make it sort of mimic a clock face. It's better than a black circle.
Yeah, you've actually worked that really well because you've got kind of the you've almost used the negative space, yeah.
I guess it's time for
watercolor.
All right, it's time to move on to the watercolor and apparently the palette knife.
You can use the brushes as well, but the palette knife's there.
I'll definitely use the brushes then. I do know from experience that if I scratch the paper with a palette knife, the watercolor will sort of sit into that little groove I scratched in. So I can use this to scratch like stone shapes maybe, or brick, or little detail things, and then just do a normal watercolor wash and the watercolor will settle in. So it hopefully will make even more depth to the painting, more detail. We'll see. That's the theory.
Oh, that's very cool.
This paper doesn't handle watercolor amazingly. Like, it kind of just sits on the surface, so I only think about it as a secondary addition. Like, I wouldn't just sit down and paint watercolor on this paper. I have to keep it loose is what I mean. I can't treat it like normal watercolor paper, but that's the fun of it. The focus is the drawing. This is just secondary for fun. So I'm a little more stylized, I would say, with my mark making when I do watercolor on this paper. Get a bit of green because we have a tree. The fan brush actually is turning out to be really fun. I'm digging it. Look how loose and fun you can make those leaves. And then it can get these stringy lines. Luckily, it's drying really fast. Going for it. Tinting the building now. Keeping the warmer tones on the side of the sun. Tones on this side. Hey, I have to admit this big brush is turning out to be fun. See this? So funny. I'm gonna leave that little weird sliver I made. I kind of like that design choice. Actually, I'm gonna stop touching it now, because if I keep touching it, I'm really gonna overdo it. We'll see how this dries. I may just drag the paint to the edge of this. So funny, I'm always like, okay, I'm done touching it, and then I keep touching it. It's like, it's 3 o'clock.
No, that's them ringing the bell to tell you to stop touching your painting.
They're like, stop!
That's plenty!
Yeah, let's stop there. It looks a lot different in the sun. Bam. Okay, well, that's it. All right, so for part 2, we are going to walk down to the river and find another little spot to sit and paint. And I'm apparently going to be using randomly picked items from the whole list of everything you guys recommended or suggested. Wolfy used a random word picker after typing it all in. Probably going to be crazy. moving on, and I forgot that I told Wolfie he's allowed to choose my next subject.
It's your acrylic gouache and all the rest of it, all with your left hand. That was the rule that popped up. I'm sorry, but I don't control the randomized wheel.
Who suggested this? I'm coming for you. The viewers are the clouds on which the fate... The viewers are... There's something so morbid about YouTube where like people just really want to watch people suffer in videos.